Thank you for listening to REED-BBS. Ciao.
REED-BBS. BBS. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua. He's been here before. Anthony Joshua. He understood the assignment. In his own words, they want me to put an end to the Jake Paul show, and I understand it. And that's why I have to carry boxing on my back in this fight. Just as he did against Francis Ngannou nearly 2 years ago, Joshua defended boxing's honor with an iron fist. Joshua left Ngannou unconscious in less than 2 full rounds, and he 10 counted Jake Paul in less than 6 full rounds. Left my man wide-eyed, mouth bloody, jaw fractured. Anthony Joshua, boxing's cleanup man, boxing's Captain Save-A-Ho. I wanna be saved. Speaking of Captain Save-A-Ho, a couple of boxing's finest females was trying to get saved also, huh? Ngannou came from MMA and stained boxing's image by dropping then reigning heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, on his ass. That was a shit stain for boxing. But Joshua rectified it. He set that shit straight. He cleaned up that mess. Ditto for AJ in the case of Jake Paul. I don't sit here begrudging Jake Paul's boxing existence. What he does for promotion, especially on the women's side, is immeasurable. But what Jake Paul does in the ring, him specifically, has not been good for boxing, in my opinion. Jake Paul beating a 58-year-old Mike Tyson? That's all yesterday's news, though. Boxing needed resounding wins over Francis Ngannou and Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. God damn it, he delivered. Leading up to December 19th, Jake said he was ready to die to win that fight. And had that fight gone beyond the 6th round, motherfucker might have died. The bout started with Jake using every inch of an enormous 22 by 22 foot square ring. 22 by 22. And needless to say, my man moved, and he moved some more, and then he kept moving. He was basically running, and more movement, mixed in with feints and clinches whenever Joshua got too close. And by as early as round two, the crowd was lustily booing. They weren't liking what they were seeing. Jake wasn't looking to set up or work for anything. He was just looking to catch Joshua with lucky-ass licks. And Joshua, following him around the ring, not quite cutting him off just yet, was missing badly with wild-ass swings. He was missing pretty badly. A lot of people were saying scripted, AJ carried him early. Look, I'm not gonna pretend to have the answer to that. AJ has a habit of shaking out those muscle-bound arms of his, and quite a bit he would extend his lead hand, and without throwing the punch, he would just extend it. And a lot of these keen-eye boxing fans, they would pick up on these arm motions as clues. Oh, see what he did there? He was signaling. He was telling Jake to go over here and do this or do that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't see it that way. But if you're swearing it was scripted, if you saw the scripting play out, so be it, bro. So be it. To me, Joshua looked like a 36-year-old past prime fighter coming off the longest layoff of his career, 15 months. There's no way Joshua had a full camp for this fight, coming in as a replacement for GervontaDavis. He didn't have a fucking 8-week camp for this fight. May not have had a full 6-week camp for this fight. Coming on the heels of a devastating KO loss to Daniel Dubois. That's what Joshua came into this Jake Paul fight. All that other shit I just mentioned, he had all that coming into this fight. And again, he's 36 years old. So make no mistake, this was not prime best version of Anthony Joshua. Nonetheless, the version of Joshua that we got was more than enough to put Jake Paul in his place. Jake Paul loves to provoke, and on cue, he had hip-hop's favorite snitch, Tekashi 6ix9ine, rhyme his way to the ring. Jake was also paying homage to that racist piece of shit, Hulk Hogan, by rocking Hulkamania-themed garb. And at first I'm like, why is he paying homage to that piece of shit? But then by the fourth round, after seeing no fewer than 5 takedown attempts, it made sense. Okay, the Hulkamania theme is because you planned on wrestling. I get it now. It was because you were gonna wrestle that night. That was the clue. That was the hint that Jake was giving us with the Hulk Hogan shit. I couldn't figure it out before, but by the 5th time he went to his knees, I got it at that point. It got pathetic after a while. Jake kept diving to the canvas, unprovoked, unsolicited. Joshua would get close, or Joshua would just miss. Jake would feel the whiff, that gust of wind from a missed shot, and know that he was in fucking trouble. So he'd go for a single or double leg takedown, just to evade and avoid punishment. It was a stall tactic, very much so. My man was falling to the ground like a white chick in a horror flick. Motherfucking head was buried in Joshua's lap like a porn star or something. It was a strange look after a while, and it wasn't very becoming of a fighter. But I get it. He wasn't trying to get hit. He wasn't trying to stand with Joshua. So that was his recourse. That was his answer. Double and single leg takedowns. What Jake didn't factor in is that picking yourself up off the canvas like that repeatedly, that uses unnecessary energy. Energy that Jake wished he had as the fight progressed. As fatigue started to set in, Jake started to panic, and his corner did the best they could to keep him calm, to encourage him, telling him to breathe. You gotta breathe, Jake. He was in the corner like, motherfucker looked like he needed an inhaler or something. Corner tried to calm him down. They were telling him the right shit. But if the writing was on the wall, Jake knew the end was near, and he didn't have a way out of it. He couldn't fight his way out of it. No bullshit. It had to be double-digit trips to the canvas for Jake. And all of them were stall tactics, as I said, attempts to delay the inevitable. That's all it was. He was looking for breaks, looking for timeouts, looking to buy himself out of the very real, very hazardous situation that he got himself into and couldn't fight his way out of. Jake was retreating. He was in reverse. He was evading Joshua so bad, motherfucker rolled his own ankle trying to get away from Joshua. Never seen a man break his own ankles running from a motherfucker. Let's see, double-digit takedowns, 2 fractures in his jaw, a 10 count. What am I missing? Oh, yeah, and 4 actual knockdowns. Double-digit takedown attempts, 4 knockdowns, 2 jaw fractures, and 1 10 count. The memes and fight photos, they were hilarious. And it's too many to go into all of them, but I'll just say my favorite picture, it's the one I used for the cover of this video, is that oh shit look on Jake Paul's face. And what had happened was he was trapped in the corner and had just ducked out of the way of a huge left hook. I promise you, Jake felt that gust of wind flying over his head, and he knew, like, oh shit. And then he sat there, looked like a scared ass little kid and shit. I couldn't tell if he was looking at a shark about to devour him or Anthony Joshua. Either way, he sat back there scared shitless. And then they show a picture of AJ in that same moment with a primal grin on his face, like an animal about to eat some other animal. Like, oh yeah, I finally got you cornered, bitch. Now it's time. And Joshua couldn't wait to unleash that right hand that crashed against the left side of Jake's jaw and broke that shit. And the picture of his teeth, it was bloody as hell. Jake was even spitting blood well after the fight. But to see the the left side of his teeth caved into his fucking tongue and his jaw and shit. And it was good to see Joshua save boxing's honor. But in that moment, I felt for Jake Paul. And all he could do was lay on the ground like, woo, woo. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah. You fucked around, you found out. All the hand-picked opposition, the bloated MMA fighters, the barely credible fucking former pros you fought, selective sparring, all of that gave Jake Paul a false sense of security because he came into this fight with Joshua very confident. He did. And he could not have miscalculated any worse. Like, this played out miserably for him. Jake also learned that he had a very false sense of his own punching power because he just knew that his right hand would damage Anthony Joshua once it landed. And Jake did land it, but Joshua barely blinked at him. And we all know Joshua does not like getting hit, but he had no problem at all absorbing the blows of Jake Paul. He touched the stove one too many times. Mama said don't touch that stove. Jake kept touching the stove. He fucked with the wrong one of Joshua, and he finally got burned. Jake didn't even try to make excuses afterwards. He cited his cardio. I could have been in better shape. He said, Anthony's a great fighter. I got my ass beat. That's what happens in this sport. And it does. I loved how he took it after the fact. He said he'll continue to fight or continue to win. That remains to be seen. Because he also said, hey, I've been going hard for 5-6 years. I'm going to need a little break. Yeah, I bet you will, bruh. I bet you will. After getting exposed like this, it'll be interesting to see if fans will continue to flock to Jake Paul fights. And more importantly, how interested will Netflix be in continuing to show Jake Paul fights? For what it's worth, Joshua was so concerned with Jake Paul, he already had 2 fights on the table with His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. Tyson Fury is at the end of that tunnel. The fight's in mind. Tyson Fury, that is. He's at the end of that tunnel. There's rumored to be a 2-fight deal with Joshua and Fury sharing a twin bill February, March or so, and then those two finally getting it on in the fall of 2026. But yeah, this was all planned before the Jake Paul fight. That's how scared and concerned Joshua was about the prospects of losing to Jake Paul. For the greater good of boxing proper, Joshua versus Fury has to happen. I don't care if neither man has a belt anymore. I know both men are past their shelf life. They're past their sale date. We still need to see this fight. And we need to see this fight in the UK, in Wembley Stadium. Don't make it one of those Riyadh season cards in Saudi Arabia. No, we need to see Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium. Nowhere else. But yeah, man, December 19th, never forget it, 2025, Anthony Joshua. Boxing's cleanup man, Captain Save-A-Ho. He did it again. God damn it, he did it again. I wanna be saved. Speaking of Captain Save-A-Ho, a couple of boxing's finest females was trying to get saved also, huh? He redeemed boxing's honor, and he cleansed us from the filth of Jake Paul. Well done, AJ. Well done. REED-BBS. BBS. Blackbird Sugar. Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television. Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.